Chosen one, the silence you're experiencing is not rejection. My beloved child, the silence you're experiencing right now is not rejection, it is selection. I need you to hear that slowly, because silence has a way of sounding like abandonment when you don't understand its purpose. You may have been calling out, asking for clarity, asking for movement, asking for a sign, and all you received was quiet. No answers. No reassurance. No visible shift. And that can feel painful, even confusing. But this silence did not arrive to push you away. It arrived because something delicate is being prepared around you. When noise stops, distractions fade. When distractions fade, truth becomes audible. This is not the silence of being ignored, it is the silence of being separated. Chosen ones are often pulled into quiet seasons because their next step cannot be shaped in chaos. Don't skip, because what feels like distance is actually protection. While others are being distracted, rushed, and emotionally drained, you are being held still. Not stuck, held. There is a difference. And that difference determines who is ready for what comes next. Here is the shocking truth most people never realize: silence is where alignment happens. When everything goes quiet, you begin to notice what you truly believe, not what you say you believe. You notice how you talk to yourself when no one is affirming you. You notice whether your faith survives without applause. This is the test that reveals depth. Many people mistake constant movement for progress, but real preparation often looks like nothing from the outside. You may feel like life has paused, like doors stopped responding, like momentum disappeared. But behind the scenes, timing is being adjusted with precision. Certain things cannot meet you until you are internally ready to receive them without fear, without ego, without confusion. Stay till the end, because this silence is not empty. It is full of refinement. It is removing dependence on validation. It is teaching you how to stand without explanation. And once that lesson settles, the silence will no longer feel heavy, it will feel powerful. This is why you felt different lately. Less reactive. Less desperate. More observant. You are no longer chasing every signal or forcing every outcome. That shift did not happen by accident. It happened because the silence worked on you. It slowed your thoughts. It sharpened your awareness. It trained your patience. And now, something huge is waiting for you on the other side of this quiet. Not as a reward for suffering, but as a response to who you are becoming. Rejection pushes people away. Silence prepares people to step forward. You were never being denied, you were being readied. Hold steady. Listen closely. The quiet will not last forever. And when it breaks, it won't break loudly. It will open precisely, at the moment you no longer mistake silence for loss. What you are walking through right now feels quiet on the surface, but inside it is doing something intense. Silence has a way of exposing everything you once used to distract yourself from. When answers stop arriving quickly, you are forced to face what you truly trust. That is why this phase feels heavier than expected. It is not because you are weak. It is because you are becoming honest with yourself. The silence is asking one simple question again and again: will you keep moving forward even when nothing confirms you are right? This is where most people turn back. Not because they were rejected, but because they misunderstood the pause. Don't skip, because this pause is where clarity replaces confusion. The noise had to stop so you could hear your own strength forming. This is not a season of loss. It is a season of alignment happening without an audience. Here is something rarely said out loud: silence is often proof that you are being trusted with responsibility you cannot yet see. If everything were explained to you now, you would rush. If every outcome were shown, you would rely on certainty instead of faith. So the silence stays. It teaches you to stand without leaning on external reassurance. It trains your mind to stay calm when nothing is happening. And that calm is dangerous to fear. Because once you learn it, manipulation, pressure, and doubt lose their power over you. Stay till the end, because this is where many people accidentally talk themselves out of their own breakthrough. If this message feels like it's speaking directly to you, take a second and share it with someone who feels confused by silence. Leave a small comment so this reaches the right moment, and subscribe if you want to stay connected to messages meant for seasons like this. What you are in right now is not random, it is precise. The most surprising part is this: when the silence finally lifts, you won't rush to fill it. You won't panic. You won't doubt. You will recognize the moment immediately, because you were trained for it here. Something huge is waiting for you, but it cannot meet someone who still needs constant confirmation. That is why the quiet stayed longer than you expected. Rejection feels sharp and final. This silence feels slow and stretching. Because it is shaping you, not pushing you away. You were not overlooked. You were being prepared to hear the right call when it finally comes, and to answer it without fear. You might be wondering why the silence became deeper right when you expected movement. That moment is not coincidence, it is confirmation. Silence intensifies only when something meaningful is close enough to require precision. This is where impatience is tested at its core. Because if you move too early, you meet resistance. And if you move too late, you miss alignment. So everything slows down. Your surroundings quiet. Your emotions settle. Your awareness sharpens. This is not isolation. This is focus. Don't skip, because very few people are allowed into this phase. It is where external noise fades so internal direction can take control. You are being trained to recognize truth without being told, to feel timing without seeing evidence, to trust movement that begins inside before it appears outside. Notice how your reactions have changed. Situations that once demanded answers now receive your patience. Delays that once frustrated you now feel strangely purposeful. This is the silence doing its work. It is removing urgency so wisdom can take its place. Many people chase noise because noise feels alive. But noise confuses direction. Silence clarifies it. That is why chosen ones often feel misunderstood during this stage. Others may think nothing is happening for you, when in reality everything essential is happening within you. Stay till the end, because this realization changes how you experience waiting. You stop feeling rejected by the pause and start understanding that the pause is guiding you toward accuracy. Toward the right moment, not just any moment. Here is the revelation most people never hear until after they've rushed past it: silence is not empty, it is selective. It keeps out what cannot support your next level. That is why some connections faded, why certain paths closed without explanation. They could not survive where you are headed. Something huge is waiting for you, and it requires clarity, not chaos. Stability, not speed. The silence is shaping you into someone who can recognize opportunity without being blinded by emotion. When it finally breaks, it won't shock you. It will feel familiar. Because you were already aligned with it long before it arrived. Hold steady. The quiet is not rejection. It is guidance refining itself before speaking. There is a reason the silence has stayed even after you proved your patience. It is because this phase is not about waiting longer, it is about listening deeper. Silence changes tone when you are close. It becomes heavier, more intentional, almost demanding awareness. This is where most people get uncomfortable and try to escape by forcing movement. But you didn't. You stayed. You observed. You endured the quiet without running from it. That alone shows readiness. Don't skip, because what feels like nothing happening is actually everything settling into its final position. The silence is no longer testing whether you can wait, it is testing whether you can recognize the moment when waiting is over. Here's the surprising truth: silence is often the final confirmation before action. It strips away emotional noise so you don't move out of fear or excitement. It teaches you to respond instead of react. That is why your instincts feel sharper now. Why distractions don't pull you the same way. Why you sense that something is near, even though you can't explain it. This is alignment reaching completion. Stay till the end, because understanding this will stop you from doubting yourself at the worst possible moment. If this message feels like it's landing exactly where you are right now, share it with someone who feels confused by quiet seasons. Leave a simple comment so this reaches the right people, and subscribe if you want to stay connected to messages meant for turning points like this. Now hear this clearly: the silence you're experiencing is not asking you to wait forever. It is asking you to stay aware. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will arrive when you are calm enough to receive it without rushing and strong enough to hold it without fear. Rejection pushes people away with finality. This silence has kept you close, attentive, prepared. And when it finally speaks, it won't shout. It will guide. Trust this moment. You are not being ignored. You are being positioned exactly where clarity meets opportunity. A quiet certainty is beginning to replace the questions you once carried, and that change matters more than you realize. The silence did not empty you, it organized you. It taught you how to pause without fear, how to breathe without answers, how to trust without urgency. That is not common. Most people need constant signals to keep moving, but you learned how to move from within. This is why the silence lingered longer than you expected. It was completing a transfer of strength. Don't skip, because this is the moment where waiting turns into readiness. You are no longer asking, "Why is nothing happening?" You are starting to sense, something is aligning. And that shift is the doorway. Not the noise outside you, but the calm inside you, is what unlocks what comes next. Look closely at what no longer controls you. The fear of missing out has softened. The need to prove yourself has loosened its grip. The pressure to explain your path has faded. These are not losses. They are releases. The silence took away what would have distracted you at the wrong time. It taught you to value accuracy over speed, direction over motion. This is why your focus feels narrower now. It is not that your world is shrinking, it is that your aim is sharpening. Stay till the end, because this is the difference between being pushed forward and being pulled into alignment. When the moment arrives, you won't chase it. You'll recognize it. And recognition is what keeps opportunity from passing by unnoticed. Here is the truth that completes this chapter: silence is not the absence of movement, it is movement without noise. Something huge is waiting for you, but it requires a steady presence to meet it fully. The silence prepared you to receive without rushing, to decide without panic, to step forward without doubt. When it finally breaks, it won't feel dramatic, it will feel right. You won't need confirmation. You won't need permission. You will simply move, calmly and clearly, knowing the quiet was never rejection. It was instruction. And you listened. At some point, you stopped asking the silence to explain itself, and that is when it started working for you instead of against you. This shift is subtle, but it is everything. Earlier, quiet felt like a verdict. Now, it feels like a signal. You are no longer measuring your worth by how fast things move or how loudly life responds. You are measuring alignment. That is growth most people never reach. Don't skip, because this is the stage where faith stops needing reassurance. You are learning how to stand steady even when outcomes are not visible. And that steadiness is rare. It is the kind of inner posture that cannot be shaken by delay or doubt. The silence did not weaken you, it trained you to remain calm where others collapse. Notice how you no longer chase clarity the way you used to. You are allowing it to arrive. That tells me something important has already changed inside you. The silence refined your instincts. It taught you when not to move, when not to speak, when not to react. This is discipline, not delay. Many people rush into open doors and lose themselves inside. You are being taught how to enter without losing your balance. Stay till the end, because this understanding protects what comes next. When the moment appears, you won't second-guess it. You won't overthink it. You'll recognize it instantly, because the silence already trained your awareness to notice what truly belongs to you. Here is the final truth of this phase: silence does not stay once its work is done. It lifts when readiness is complete. And something huge is waiting for you, not because you endured the quiet, but because you learned from it. You are no longer asking to be chosen. You are moving like someone who already is. When the silence breaks, it will not rush you forward. It will simply step aside. And you will walk on, calm, prepared, and certain, knowing now that the silence you feared was never rejection, it was guidance shaping you for what comes next. There is a quiet confidence growing in you now, and it did not come from answers, it came from endurance. You stayed when silence tried to convince you to leave. You listened when nothing seemed to speak back. And in doing so, you crossed an invisible line most people never reach. This is the stage where faith stops feeling fragile and starts feeling grounded. You no longer panic when things go quiet. You no longer assume the worst when movement slows. Instead, you sense intention, direction, purpose beneath the stillness. Don't skip, because this awareness is the reward of the silence itself. It means you are no longer waiting helplessly. You are standing ready. And readiness changes how life approaches you. What's happening now is subtle but powerful. The silence is no longer shaping you, it is stepping away to see who you've become. That's why moments of clarity come unexpectedly. Why certain thoughts feel settled instead of restless. Why you no longer feel the urge to force progress. You have learned the rhythm of alignment. You know now that what is meant for you does not require panic or pursuit. It requires presence. This is where many people break their own momentum by doubting themselves at the very end. Stay till the end, because this is the moment to trust the calm you earned. The silence taught you how to recognize truth without noise. And that skill ensures you don't mistake distraction for opportunity when movement returns. Here is the final understanding you carry forward: silence was never meant to isolate you forever. It was meant to prepare you precisely. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will meet you with familiarity, not surprise. When it arrives, you won't rush. You won't question. You won't look back. You'll step forward with steady confidence, knowing the quiet season did not reject you, it refined you. And because of that, what comes next will not overwhelm you. It will fit you. Exactly. What you are feeling now is not anticipation, it is recognition. Something inside you already knows that the silence has done its work. You may not have words for it, but you can feel it in how you carry yourself, in how your thoughts no longer spiral the way they used to. This is the stage where faith becomes embodied. Not something you think about, but something you live from. You are no longer waiting nervously for the quiet to end. You are standing comfortably within it. And that comfort is the signal. Don't skip, because this is the moment where many people underestimate themselves. They think nothing has changed, when in reality everything essential already has. The silence did not leave you empty. It left you ready. Notice how your choices feel simpler now. You don't over-explain. You don't overreact. You don't chase what feels forced. That clarity is not accidental. It is the result of time spent without noise, without constant direction, without external approval. You learn to trust your inner alignment. That is rare. This is why things that once felt urgent now feel optional. You are no longer pulled by fear of missing out. You are guided by calm certainty. Stay till the end, because this is the difference between being led by pressure and being led by purpose. When movement resumes, it will not feel chaotic. It will feel clean. Direct. Uncomplicated. Here is the truth that settles everything: silence ends naturally when it is no longer needed. It does not end with drama. It ends with readiness. Something huge is waiting for you, but it is not rushing toward you, it is matching your pace. When the moment comes, you will not feel surprised. You will feel aligned. As if the quiet was simply clearing the way for this exact step. And you will understand then, with calm certainty, that the silence you once questioned was never rejection. It was timing working in your favor. What comes next will not announce itself with noise, it will feel like a quiet yes inside you. After all this silence, you expected a sign that shakes the ground, but instead you receive certainty that steadies your breath. That is how you know it is real. You are no longer searching for meaning in every pause or message in every delay. You are present. You are ready. The silence did not end because you demanded answers, it ends because you no longer need them. Don't skip, because this is the moment people misunderstand most. They think the breakthrough is the event. But the real breakthrough already happened inside you. The outer change is simply catching up. You may notice that opportunities no longer feel intimidating. Decisions no longer feel heavy. Even uncertainty feels different now, less threatening, more neutral. That is strength you earned, not something given to you suddenly. The silence trained you to trust yourself when nothing else spoke. And that trust is what carries you forward now. Stay till the end, because here is the final shift. You are no longer asking whether you were rejected. You already know you weren't. You were preserved. While others were scattered by noise, you were shaped by quiet. While others chased movement, you learned timing. And timing is what protects what matters. Now understand this clearly and let it settle. Something huge is waiting for you, but it does not rush toward those who are unstable. It meets those who are steady. When it arrives, it will feel natural, almost obvious, as if it was always meant to happen this way. You will not need to prove anything. You will not need to explain your path. You will simply move forward, calmly, knowing the silence you endured was never rejection, it was preparation that made you ready to receive without fear and walk ahead without looking back.